We are live. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Welcome to the episode. This is episode 23 of In the Green Room with Room 420. I am your host, Sunny B. And I have with me a pretty badass band that goes by an area code. They are 434.
Right on.
What's up?
So with me, I have Scott and Mike. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Mikey V. I'm the front man, 434.
And I'm Scott, lead guitar player for 434.
So, just to kick us off here, tell us a little bit about yourselves and why you initially got into music.
Jeez. So I got into music because I found the band Kiss when I was 5 years old and got into the theatrics, got into the hook of the music and loved the sing-along stuff and just how it was just the big hook, the sing-along, theatrics. I remember when I got a tennis racket and tied a rope to it, and that was my guitar, and I would throw baby powder around my room, and I always wanted to be like that theatrical, sing-along, chanting type of rock star guy.
Hell yeah. Always a rock star at heart. I notice most of the people I interview on here, most of them tend to have some sort of a rock star attitude by the time they're a child.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
All right, go ahead and tell us about yourself, Mikey.
Oh, well, similarly, just, everyone loves music, I'd imagine. I'd like to think so. But a young kid listening to weird things and poppy things and constantly listening to the radio, recording radio stations, recording everything about them, and just listening to those nonstop. If I really can't name one artist, there's so many that probably come into play. But I loved pop music, obviously, when I was a young guy, and ventured off into hip hop, which was new at the time, rap and hip hop, and I loved all that stuff. And I found radio stations that played all that weird stuff, and became infatuated. So that's where it all began.
Hell yeah. So this one's kind of a big one for me. I always love getting to find this out about people. And so I can obviously tell your guys' music has some influence. I can hear some Alice in Chains and definitely like some punk style, but with like more of like, it's got grit to it. I love your guys' music, by the way.
Thank you.
So who are your guys' top inspiration for what you do?
Wow. It's so wide, I think, because it digs into punk where, as I was growing up, I started graduating into more aggressive things like Black Flag, Dead Kennedys, and, Circle Jerks and things of that nature. But, also influenced with the 80s and 90s type music. So it was like kind of a melting pot of, hey, do you want to be angry? Do you want to just be straightforward? Do you just want to be hooky? Do you want to be technical some spots? So and then some country, because I grew up in a very heavily influenced country family, country and folk. So we have, all of that kind of like posh of stuff, if you want to say. Just how do you, impel into that, and where does it all come from? And as you listen through our catalog and listen to it musically, it's kind of like, wow, that's out of left field. Well, it's not really out of left field. It's just another influence of things, but staying groove oriented, staying, being able to bob your head to it, have a good groove. and just blend all those things that's influenced myself over my life. I think our catalog, when I listen back to it, I'm like, I can hear chapters of my life in it. So it's, kind of an interesting listen from myself.
Yeah, I think both of us have a lot of years to pull from. I mean, we just listen to music from all ages. I mean, you laugh. Well, I love yacht rock. I like I like yacht rock. I like stuff like that. Just if anything, just to mellow you out. But uh, all those early frontmen and entertainers, I would say, in this, um, definitely Dead Kennedys and spoken word. Um, Type music, hard, heavy music. I was always a big sucker for that. I loved hearing that, and I love the angst in a lot of it. And if there was something that I maybe tried to do a little different, is rather than try to just express my angst through uh, uh, cussing and filthy words, I just try to do it creatively and come up with other ways of saying it. And so it's where it may be palatable for someone to hear on the radio.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. So to kick us off with a little bit of a curveball. I mean, like, I've heard you guys, I've seen it in interviews before. You guys have talked about your old band Sedimentary, but I've never really heard you guys talk about your self-named album, because I found a CD from 2001 of a self-named album uh, with so many tracks, and I found out that your guys' song "Dope Bag" was originally on that CD.
Wow, man, that man, that's great.
Incredible.
Because it's just the evolution of what this band come from. So the band Sedimentary was a band that actually my first band that I formed, and we were together for 8 years, and we recorded that CD. Um, just a crazy story. The four members of that band, Mike wasn't in that band when we recorded that, but he winded up becoming a member of that band. Um, and through the evolution of it, that CD did have Dope Bag and a couple other songs that we still play live. And it broke up for a good while. We took a break from music for a good while, all of us did. And then when we put it back together, um, and it's really a horror story because every member of that original CD, except for myself, has all passed.
I
That
did not
singer
know
that was
that.
on, yeah, the singer that was on it, the bass player was on it. Then when we got this band back together, we had the drummer that was on it, and we put this band back together and was doing it. He winded up passing during our evolution of this.
Oh man.
Um, yeah.
So I'm so sorry for about that. I mean, like, that's awful to hear.
It's been trying, but it's also been a motivator.
Big
So
time motivator. Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like kind of sometimes like you kind of think about, and then also Mike and I, a guy that I was great friends with that Mike played in a band with before he joined our band. Just a good mutual influence. Another guy who's passed on since then. So
Yeah.
we've kind of influenced so much like loss going through this journey. Um, that it's been kind of hard and it's kind of like I think probably the motivator that sometimes when the music industry gets really hard and um we just kind of replay it back to our roots of why we're doing this. It's not for um not to be a trend, but to be who we are, and to be true to ourselves because each other that we have is all we have. And
Right.
You win some, you lose some, and we've definitely lost a lot. But we've created some amazing things that we feel, between ourselves, that's an inspiration to ourselves. And I think sometimes when I feel all alone, I just kind of reflect and look back on that and look at where we are now and say, man, what life lessons we've learned and how we've grown. And it's kind of concreted our friendship a little bit more, especially with Mike and myself. And then, the our drummer who come in to fill in, he had hard shoes to fill and it's taken him some time, but now he's just as good a friend. And um, just like, gosh, if eventually it's going to be a documentary, that's just kind of insane. Never, most bands in friendship never survive this.
Yeah, and
You got it right, Scott, too, with the motivation part of it, because it was probably that initial moment when uh, our original drummer, um, and to make that separation, we weren't necessarily, and you were right, it was kind of in a transition time because we were just getting together just to do it and play those old songs again, just to kind of feel good.
Yeah,
And when he passed, and we still were trying to think of ways to keep doing what we were doing. um I definitely use that part as motivation, and think that is that's the reason why we still do it, is because simply we just love to make music and cool songs, and definitely have a great and build a great camaraderie together. Is certainly what it's been about, and
yeah,
definitely probably the most rewarding part of it. And to experience all the cool things that we get to experience is it's just icing on it. So
yeah. And like when we do stuff like songs like Dope Bag live now, sometimes when we're playing them live, I flashback memories in my mind of way back then when we were doing that song and that chorus in different places, and people just like playing those songs again, bringing back those memories of what it was. And just like
yeah,
Jace, I remember playing this down in like Podunk Country Bumpkin, Virginia, and for a bunch of like little skaters and, and stuff like that. It's like,
sure.
now it's like on a big stage or something like that. And it's kind of like,
Well,
geez, I remember that song 20 years ago.
it's morphed into its own little entity too,
It
but
has.
it keeps the core. It definitely keeps that core. Uh, the audience. You can stop playing the music, and the audience will keep singing it. So it definitely
Yeah.
has. Yeah,
and that's
Yeah.
that's beautiful. That's like absolutely beautiful. Like how you guys have grown through that and used that as motivation to keep going, and you
yeah,
look back and you don't like you're not like stuck in the past, but you're moving forward and you're looking back at the past as fond memories.
Sure.
oh yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
and it's and it's absolutely like a beautiful thing. You guys have a beautiful story. I love this.
Thank you. Hey,
I
we're very fortunate to still be able to do it and still have that drive to do it, because we all of us have careers and things that we do. This being, as a start, extracurricular, turned into what could be even more important than those careers at moments, which is a new feeling. Um, but we tend to come down from that excitement really fast when we talk to each other, uh, and just try to put a logical perspective on it, and just develop some short-term goals rather than try to get so excited about possibilities.
And
Uh,
then also, I think sometimes that like really helps us with you know, battling through the struggles of today's struggles in the industry that, I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
sometimes, can get heated and things not go the way we want them and not the way that we're planning for them to. And, the music industry is changing every day, every show, every tour, every trip changes and changes and changes. And it gets frustrating because, you know, you have to adapt. And I think that helps us adapt.
Yeah, it does. It really does because uh, uh, simply because it just snaps you right back into, you know, uh, it being a fun thing, and let's keep it that way. Keep it that way, and um, just have some common sense and logic to all of it. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. It does change a lot, and the music industry is so much different than it was back in the day when we were in those other bands.
Yeah.
So uh, uh, yeah, that change in the amount of platforms like your show, Sonny, that's allowing us to come on and talk about our music. That I guess the big objective is just getting in front of as many people as you possibly can, and hope it sticks. So, uh, thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. And actually, you kind of touched on what one of my questions was. I'll just go ahead and lead in with that. What are some of the biggest differences between the industry back when you guys were first starting out versus now? Like, what are like the most major things that you've noticed that like people don't think about?
So one of the things that is really huge is that the accessibility that you have as an independent artist to industry working people. Like for instance, we use a radio campaign manager now that 20 years ago he wasn't accessible to us because he worked exclusively for record labels. So he would push,
Oh, yeah.
bands from record labels out to radio. And now it's opened up to where he'll, push independent artists now and contract out for himself. So he's more of a self-contracted person versus a an employee for a couple of record labels. So we've been able to do things like, chart on the secondary market radio FM charts. But we're also able to, shop our stuff to playlist promoters, which a playlist back then was, there's no digital. It was all,
Yeah, I mean,
radio.
social media was barely anything, so it
Yeah,
was
social media was barely anything.
MySpace was like new.
Yeah, yeah. And just the platforms that have expanded. And back then you'd have to print up 1,000 CDs and hopefully get them out. Now you print nothing and get twice as many tracks out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
But
that's
also,
definitely the biggest thing. Yeah.
yeah, but also the competition, or I shouldn't say competition, but the industry is just, it's that everybody else does that as well. So um, how do you handle that, and what do you do? But it's really nice to see, like, even though it's, a lot of people say FM radio is irrelevant, but when you see yourself charting on those types of platforms, and everybody around you are major artists,
Yeah.
like like Black Crows are right in front of us, or something like that. That is, you're just kind of like, wow, how I've never thought I would see my band's name on the same chart as a artist like that.
Yeah, just because high school, middle school, and college basketball exists doesn't mean the NBA isn't still the NBA.
That's right. Yeah.
It's not-
And that's not saying that everything else is little leagues compared to FM radio. It's just saying that once you hit FM radio and you're up on those charts, then that's how you know, like, oh, yeah, this is big time.
Yeah. People, influencing people who program managers are paying attention to you, and that's across the nation. So you're getting people playing you in California and you know Arizona and Montana and stuff like that. It's like, wow, people are hearing us that we could have never touched.
You're exactly right. And you know, turning around and using kind of those analytics and things that those radio stations, and that's something new that we're trying to work with a little bit, or trying to figure out. But seeing where these radio stations that are picking us up, and hopefully try to get a small run around those areas where those people in that town hear that song. So there's that, which is kind of cool to try.
Hell yeah. Oh, and I mean, like, it's always like the weird little avenues that you don't think of that always grow your music too. Because it's like, just like this one person that you told, hey, go listen to my song, turns and shows it to their whole friend group. And it's like, oh, whoa, wow, now I have like 13 new 13 new fans. It's
Yep.
like, just word of mouth has always been like one of the most powerful things, I think,
Sure.
especially
Always.
in this industry.
Yep.
We have our couple of super fans that do that, but just a couple of them. So,
Super fans, we always love super fans. Super fans are the best.
that's right.
We do.
So, reaching on to my next topic, you guys did some recording with Kevin McNulty, right? And he's pretty
Yeah.
notable for bands such as the Dave Matthews Band, Backstreet Boys, Sissy Spacek, and people like that.
Sure.
Tell me what that experience was like getting to record with him.
Um,
That's got.
so really, really interesting because Kevin McNulty is actually, um, he, with all those artists, he ran a major recording studio in Charlottesville, Virginia. A 4-room, ABCD room type of studio that was probably one of the most prominent East Coast studios through the 90s. Um, Doing that, and his career changed, and he moved around. When he sold that studio, he moved out to LA, worked for a record label out in LA, moved over to Florida, then settled in Raleigh. And so I've known who he was for a long time just because it was from our
Oh, we
area.
we talked about that studio many, many times.
Yeah, just
Before even talking about Kevin McNulty, we've always said, "Man, remember that?"
yeah, remember that, and the stories of like Rick Rubin coming into Charlottesville, Virginia to produce in that studio, and
Yeah,
Seven Mary 3 coming out of that studio, stuff like that. That he has done, just the huge names that he's been involved with. And then when we were shopping for a new producer, it was just kind of I knew him. We were friends on Facebook, and I just kind of Hail Married it to him, and he actually bit and took a listen. And he's like, "Hey, I've seen growth through your recordings and your songwritings and stuff like that." And um, it's was he was like, "Hey, let's give this a shot." And we recorded a small group of songs with him, and it was so incredible because he is such a patient producer. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but he's a patient hit making producer, and he don't tell you very very often that you're wrong, um, but he will. But when it makes sense, it makes sense, and he hears the vision, and puts it into it, and adds the predominant pieces to make it bigger sounding. To you know like I know that like my guitar sessions with Kevin, is stuff that I love, but they're very grueling because they're just 3 hours on one song, track after track after track after track. And he's just like, God, play it again, and play it a little bit and do a little bit of this with it. And then my ideas of, hey, let's add some acoustic guitar to it. And he's like, give it a shot, let's hear what it sounds like. He's more of like, I hear your structure and it makes sense. Now let's put all the pieces into it that make it expand and compress and expand and make it a flow of a song. His thing is just like it's hit after hit after hit. And that's the idea of it.
Hell yeah, because you only want to strive for greatness, so that's an understandable gumption to
And
have.
that's the great thing. The great thing about music now is like we don't go in and concentrate on recording an album. We go in and concentrate on recording 4 singles. And so those 4 songs are going to be great, not 8 songs that are average.
Absolutely. And that's kind of the direction that this I've noticed this modern industry of music moving to is way less albums like, and if you do an album, it's usually like a consolidation of all of your singles to re-release and re-push out as an
Right.
album what is already
Yeah,
singles.
absolutely. Well, I mean, no one really listens to full albums anymore unless they're superstars. I mean, uh, it just doesn't happen. Uh, it works so much better for us and allows us to do it at our speed versus just here's everything we got. We don't know what we're going to have next, or we're rushed to try to create a whole bunch of new stuff that we won't be happy with. So,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely. And it's nice to be able to take that time and spend it on that song and be able to like I know that doesn't feel right, and instead of having to push it out with something not feeling right about it, you get to sit down and work out with your feelings and in your
sure.
head make it feel right, make it sound right, make it make
And,
sense to you.
and that's where kind of Kevin comes in too, because we come with these general ideas of what they are, and they're songs. I mean, they're songs from right there, but his production capability is just outrageous and it's just so good. And yes, he's a kind person, and really has a fine ear for what he wants to hear, which is typically what we want to hear as well.
So as
So,
far as creative input, what did he have for your guys' songs when you guys were recording?
um, well, he we had it usually goes through Scott and him first. With Scott will have his riff of what he's trying to or what he's trying to convey, I guess, and then they'll structure it as a song, and maybe put some other things in there just to send it to me. And from that point, we just kind of learn it as it is, and um, I'll write songs, or I'll write whatever it is I write to whatever they send me, and I just listen to it a million times.
And that's how it is. I'll have a so I have the ProSonus and he has that, so we link together from from Virginia to North Carolina, and I'll say, okay, here's a song idea, and I'll map it out, and he'll say, good, bad, slow down, tempo, and he'll structure it, count it, click it, put it in time, and make it correct to be you know a good thing to go out to the rest of the band that they can create off of. He'll put like, hey, here's the tempo, so here's a drum beat that goes with the tempo, like real basic beat. Here's a real basic bass line. Here's the bare minimum of what it sounds like now. So it's kind of like the undersoil. So let's now make it grow and let the other
Put my
members of
parts
the
to it.
band, yeah, put their parts to it, put their creativity to it. Um, but probably the biggest struggle of the writing is those first parts of it where he's dealing with me, and kind of honing in my chaotic type of writing and energy, and what I want to press out,
Oh, I
and
don't think
make the
it's
song.
chaotic. It's just different than how we used to do it, because it started
Yeah.
with just getting together and playing, and you simply recording on an iPhone or something, practice, and then taking it home. So this is a very different and much cleaner and precise way of creating, which has been new for us, but welcomed because it's, essentially when it comes to me, it's pretty much already a song. It's just what do I feel about it? That's a good feeling to be, a feeling to have.
And now that also allows us just pile a bunch of stuff into it and then trim it down. So, it's like, okay, hey, like we have a song in the queue that's, probably too long, needs to be trimmed, but, we'll work it out. But, it's all there and we get the parts there. Then we work with our radio campaign guy and he goes, okay, for it to work radio wise, let's move this, kind of do this and make it more friendly. And we can just kind of cut, paste, trim, and take stuff out and shape it up a little bit. But the creativity is there and we can explore a lot.
Sure. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So, not to change topics too horribly fast, but this question's been sitting in my head. So I know 434 is an area code, but how did you guys come to settle on that as your band name?
Well, I kind of pressed the issue a little bit, I think, but um, uh, Scott and I, and this goes back to when we, didn't even realize we were starting a band again,
Yeah.
But I got super excited because I was having a great time in these little practice sessions we were having and really getting the itch to go back out and do songs and play songs again. But Scott had mentioned that he's always liked number names for bands and things like that. So I was like, all right. And, long story short, I said, well, how about 434? And we kind of just never really agreed on it. But that night I sat there for about 5 hours drawing up this logo to bring to this practice that we were having. And I was like, look at this right here, and I think if it was really just from that moment right on, we were like, yeah, we're going to call it 434, so.
And all the interludes, we just said, hey, the logo was really cool. And then all the other things, started popping off of it that we found out, like, that there's an angel numbered 434 that actually one of the Kennedy bullets was a 434. Just a lot of other things come from, people dug a lot of stuff out of it. And we were just like, man, we're just from Central Virginia and it's an area code.
That's exactly right.
but the fact of like, hey, Mike put that effort into this and it's a cool looking logo. Why are we not going to use it?
It was pretty. It was. So maybe the logo was kind of the deal sealer. Yeah. So either way,
and we've had struggles over the year with, we want people to spell the name out, but we've also learned over the years that people are just really lazy and want to hit just 434. So
lazy typers. Okay. That's what I call
lazy typers. So that's cool. So we've had to learn how to be a little bit more
accepting,
to what the general public wants to see or wants to do.
Well, so you're right, because the logo has the digits in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, what are you getting mad about? It wasn't getting mad. It was like, we want them to tag the band 434 so that we can, copy and use it on our socials and so forth. And, it wasn't until we got smarter and realized, okay, well, I guess we just wanted a separation from like the dentist's office in Charlottesville. So,
yeah, but we've learned and adapted it, and we realize that people see us live
Yeah.
and they're like, oh man, that band 434. And then they go Google us and they hit in 434 and everything comes up but us. But, now that we've started
Yeah.
putting the 434 in tags, like it's on our website and stuff like that, now it's hitting like the Google algorithm and easier to find us.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it was pretty easy. When I was looking you guys up and doing some research on you guys, I was finding it pretty easy to find all your guys' stuff. Your guys' website popped right up, and that's
Awesome.
Yeah.
it was really easy to find you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a good thing. We're pretty pleased about that. We've noticed the same thing. So
Hell yeah. So, since we're speaking in intervals of three-digit numbers, you guys happen to be on the 717 Entertainment Hall of Fame list. Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the Hall of Fame list. That's the first I've heard that one, but we're on the list,
Mhm.
a list, I'm sure.
It said you guys were on the Hall of Fame list in there
All
on their
right,
website.
really cool.
Hell
I'll have
yeah.
to check. I'll have to look at that. I didn't know that.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
So 717 Entertainment, Nick, super great promoter up in the Pennsylvania area,
Yeah, he is.
has had us up for a couple of shows to play on, and we winded up hooking up with a great band up in that area called Defiant that
Oh,
we've
I love
swapped
those
some shit.
guys.
We've
Yeah,
swapped some shows with them. They're we
superb
just
guy.
we played there like Toys for Tots this past year and just
Mhm.
had an incredible time. Every time we're with them, we just have a blast. We've had them down to our venue down here in Virginia. Um, so just and Nick's been a big supporter because he was like, well, I don't know, you guys sound really different than he sees it live, and he's like, wow, that's really cool, and just a good guy, and
Yep.
he knows when he brings us up that he's going to get a good set. He's going to get professionals that aren't drama queens, and we'll just
That's
have
right.
a good time, and people will have a good time. And one of the biggest things I always see is that when people come to the shows that we play there, people are just saying that's a fun set to watch. Those guys are fun to watch. We have a good time.
Yeah.
Hell
That's
yeah. We love the fun, energetic sets, and I can't wait to see your guys' set because I'll be hanging out at Smoking Coals with you guys this September.
Okay.
Finally.
What
Let me see.
Defiant will be there as well.
Oh,
I think.
absolutely. I loved it. I actually had
Very
Defiant
cool.
on the show. Oh, what was it? 2 or 3 weeks ago I had them. No, maybe it was a month
Fantastic.
ago. But
Okay.
I first met them in Indiana. We did a show at Pierre's there in Indiana.
Nice.
We're
And,
there here in a couple of weeks. Here in a week. We'll be there in a week.
oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, we'll be Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yep. Make sure you guys go hit up the Sweetwater facility afterwards. It's like every
Oh.
musician's playground. It's like literally 40 minutes away from Fort Wayne.
Okay.
We might have time to do that.
Yeah, we may have time to do that. Some things on that run had to get rerouted just because of gas pricing. But that's okay.
Actually, I don't even think it's 40 miles away. I think it's like right there in Fort Wayne.
Okay. But
Very cool.
Nick is just a great guy, and Joe the Defiant. Just those guys are great people. We just
Yeah,
love being around with them. That you
we
know,
do. We do. We have a lot of fun in Pennsylvania. We play in Pennsylvania quite often throughout the years.
yeah, we hit
It's
there at
fun.
least 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So, this one might be one of the pretty commonly asked ones, but I need to know what each of your guys' favorite story from being on the road is. It could be with this band, it could be with a past band, but it has to be your all-time favorite memory of being on the road.
Oh wow. I,
There's-
there's we are such like I don't know. We have such a fun time in the truck.
We do.
Driving to venues and traveling. Um, I don't think I can pinpoint an actual quote unquote favorite because everything has some kind of silliness, some kind of goofiness that that we're not arrogant people, so we can laugh at each other and ourselves.
That's right.
That we just somebody does something silly or goofy, and just we all crack up and laugh about it. And so I can't really. I think the biggest thing that I always will pinpoint. We talk about it periodically is like playing in South Carolina, and I got the headstock of my guitar caught up in the Christmas lights that ran around the top of the stage, and I
Yep.
play a Les Paul, so it got
That's heavy.
the light got, and I was like picking the guitar up, and it got caught in the lights, and I'm trying to yank it down, and everybody
Yeah.
thought I was playing, and I wasn't
Well,
playing. I
he
was.
was in front of everybody, and from behind, it looked like he was about to play a guitar solo from behind his head, and he's pulling this thing. All the lights are coming down. That one was a pretty. That was a funny one, but yeah, as far as pinpointing one moment, we have a lot of funny moments. That's probably our speed. They're just funny moments, and we can laugh for hours about them. So,
Yeah, it's
whether it's just ragging on ourselves and you know bragging on someone,
shenanigans,
and yeah,
practical jokes,
practical jokes. Yeah, absolutely. Those
or
are the fun times.
Those are always the best times. I love just getting to crack up and just be yourself around your friends because
Yeah.
your band is your family, basically. You guys are like
and-
best friends as well.
yeah, we really are, and we just just we know each other. We're creatures of habit, so we know each other's habits. We've been running up and down the East Coast for 6 years now, so we
Happened.
know what to expect that each other's going to do, and so it's a
Yeah.
joke of our habits are jokes, and we just laugh and have a good time, and don't take it too serious, and realize that serious is at home and at the career. So this going out to do this is just kind of
I think we're better prepared as grown-ups versus when
yeah,
we were earlier in bands.
yeah, yeah. We're able now to accept those things, whereas when we were younger, we may not have accepted those.
Yeah, they wouldn't have. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you're
So,
exactly right.
since you guys are pretty seasoned in touring and whatnot, what are some tricks you guys have learned from being on the road that just help so much that people don't think about?
You know what's really been a good one for us has been Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Airbnbs have been a blessing for us because we can get it for a night and we can get real close to wherever venue we are. There's anywhere we've ever been. There's been just an immense amount of them right around. So yeah, that has been. If there's anything, use the Airbnb app for bands. It's so much easier.
Yeah, it's so much easier, and you don't have the separation of, the hotel, two hotel rooms. You have a house, all of you are in it, so it's kind of like, hang out, eat dinner, go to play the show, come back, hang out. Friends want to come back from the show, they come back from the show,
That's
and
right.
it's just everybody commingling. Um, and it's just it's easier and it's smarter and it's not as stuffy, and hotels are so shady, like the pictures look good but you get in the parking lot and it's a bunch of crackheads in the parking lot, and you get worried about your trailer and stuff like that, so
Yeah. Good
you know that
Who's gonna stand fire watch for a
yeah,
couple hours at a time?
yeah,
Go watch the trailer.
yeah,
Oh,
go watch the
shit.
trailer.
Here's the
Anymore,
liberal slugger.
we've been doing a lot of just camping out while
That's a great
while we're
time,
on
too.
tour. Because
Yeah.
I mean, just pack a couple tents and hop in the van, and that's, I mean, like, it's cut costs on having to pay for lodging like immensely.
Yeah,
That,
sure.
that is a good way to go. That is a good way
Unless
to
it's
go.
like January.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a
that's when I'm not touring. It's cold
little-
outside. I'm
yeah,
I'm a fairly small dude, okay? Wind
yeah,
blows right through me.
yeah, yeah. So you gotta run the jet heater all night long in the tent. Yeah, but
Bundled up with
that's
four
been
blankets all like this.
yeah
I
that's
mean,
been that's been a good thing. That's a good point. That's been a good thing, and just learning how to pack up and travel. Efficiently. Knowing hey, pack up a case of water in the vehicle, um, and to be able to make rides, you can schedule stops a little easier. Um, and rotation of drivers and stuff like that. We just
yeah,
honed it.
we're just like anybody else. I mean, we're just get out there and do it, and just get a good plan together. And usually we just, as long as we're prepared like that, we're usually the trips are fairly easy and we're actually able to enjoy them and meet new fans and enjoy those times. And, so
Oh yeah, some of my favorite times from being on the road are our interactions with fans. I love being able to hang out with people who
yeah.
enjoy what we're doing so much. Like it's like makes me feel good that I'm doing something that somebody else enjoys.
Or even fans or like people running the venue. There's been multiple times that we've played places and have hung out in the venue after the venue's been closed.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, it's just like bar reopens and stuff like that, and people's the bartender and the manager want you to hang out and just have a good time and take care of you, and
Tampa.
just Tampa cheese. Oh, peace. Oh my gosh, that was a good night. That was fun. But we had to
That's
get up and drive. I had to get up and drive to Georgia the next morning.
That's right.
So we went from
That's right.
Tampa to Atlanta, and we left the club in Tampa at what, 3 in the morning.
Cussing them for keeping it open that late.
Yeah, we was
Why don't you
cussing.
kick us out of there?
Yeah, yeah. So that was it was, but it was fun and good memories and uh,
Those
good
are
times.
those are the interesting hotel rooms.
Well, yeah,
Well,
those were too.
that trip falls under one of those right there. Those were the
It
interesting.
does. It does. Yeah.
We I don't know, remember what it was called, the one down in Tampa, but we were like they took us to the back kitchen area like it was Ocean's 11, and they
Yeah.
send us up like the service elevator for like the cooks or something. I don't know what it was, but it was awfully odd that we
Yeah,
were in this
half
little
the hotel
area.
was under construction, and they had us in the back here, and
It was like Ocean's 11. It wasn't a comfortable elevator ride either. I tell you what,
yeah,
I don't think it had been inspected in 20 years, but
yeah, right.
it
It was
was
fun.
weird,
Oh
but
shit.
fun, but fun.
Oh shit. Well, I hate being the guy that changes topics so often,
No
but I'm
problem.
also pretty curious about the band Crab Action and how you guys came to meet that band.
So interesting. So um, the original drummer passing away, and we was at a decision. Hey, we were just getting together playing some songs, and then our drummer passes away. Are we having enough fun to continue to play songs, or just say, hey, it was kind of fun, you guys, best of luck with your lives? Or do we want to continue playing songs? And at that time, where I was living about 100 miles from where I'm at now, um, the church I was going to had a praise and worship team, and our current drummer played drums in the praise and worship team, and he and I would talk about music. And got to be friends, and things of that nature. You know, kind of connected from some past. Hey, I knew that guy, this guy, and he actually is the drummer for Crab Action. So when that happened, you know, I talked to him. I was like, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, and he's like, you got to keep playing. And I'm like, man, we're just not in the market. You know, I don't know where we're going to find another drummer. And he comes back to me a week later and he's like, I tell you what, man, I'll fill in until you guys find another drummer. And we was like, well, okay. Well, we don't know where, you know, where we're going to practice. And he's like, I tell you what, I got a basement. We just got to straighten some stuff up and we can play at my basement. And so we went over and deep cleaned his basement, made it a band room. And, you know, he filled in and he loved it. And I don't think we ever asked him if he wanted to be in the band. It was just
The
kind of like
logo,
he
the
was just
logo sold it for us. That's
yeah,
for
yeah. He was like, man, I want to, you know, this is I'm into this. This is cool. So
yeah.
he's been in Crab Action for like 10 years, maybe 11 now. But you know, he picked this up as another project. And just become a member and you know become a strong member and you know piece of the family and you know periodically we've done split shows where he's pulled double duty. We've played shows with Crab Action and then there's a little split off of Crab Action that the singer and bass player do another band and we've had them come out and do shows and with us and split shows like that. So that's kind of where that relationship morphed from. You know, I'm kind of, you know, didn't expect it to be like that, but that's just how it become.
I think we also we luck out a little bit too, is that we're you know, he's a part of two different bands. I mean, he's got two fantastic bands that he's a part of for one, but um, I think there's, you know, he's able to be one person in this band and he's able to be another person in this
And
band.
that band,
So,
yeah,
so that fulfills things in his life, and you know, he's awesome. Greg is an awesome guy.
yeah,
We're very very fortunate to have him, and even more fortunate that he likes it. So
yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, one final question for you guys before I send you off and let you have a good night or whatever. Um, if you guys had one message that you wanted to leave with your music, or just a message you wanted to leave behind as a voice in this band, what would it be?
that's Scott.
I think mine is that you know life is long. It should be long, and there's many chapters of it, and you should always celebrate your chapters in life, whether they're good or bad. Remember them, you know, praise them, praise your growth, praise your, um, you know, fails, praise your wins, um, and you know, realize that life can be good, um, and it's not always bad, and it's not always gloomy, and it's not always miserable. But you know, just you know, with the power of yourself and the power of you know your higher being, what it may be that you have the ability to be able to live the way you want to live. You just kind of got to find it.
Hell yeah. And how about you, Mikey?
Yeah, yeah. As far as I don't know if I really have a saying that you know, but I guess because I put all that and I put all that into the songs essentially, and these songs, like Scott said, represent life, you know, and that's for a reason, is because it's certainly uh, similar things that we all, you know, they're a part of everything that we have done getting to this point in life, you know, and we pull a little bit from that in each song, and or you You make up a word in a song. I make up a lot of words and lyrics and stuff like that. So I have like my own dictionary. Um, and you incorporate those things, and then that's what kind of makes them lifelike and gives you that feeling of life, because we all kind of experience similar things. We don't realize it. Um, so that's where that life part comes from it. But yeah, I would say if I were to leave, if this was to be it and we were to be done tomorrow, I think what I'd say is just uh, don't pay attention to anybody else's opinions. Do it because your love for being creative, and that's what makes you feel the way you do. And as long as you feel that way, then that's all that matters. So
That's beautiful. Beautiful words from two beautiful guys that have a beautiful story with the background to their music. Thank you guys so much for coming out to this episode of In the Green Room. My name is Vincent A.B. With me, I have had 434. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you in the next one.